Hello and welcome back for another Torah Tuesday. Thank you for joining me as we journey through Exodus. We're continuing in Exodus 27. Today we're going to do verses 9 through 21. It's quite a bit of text. If you're just joining us, I'm Dr. Carmen Imes, Associate Professor of Old Testament at Biola University, and you can go back to my channel and watch the entire playlist of Exodus videos. We've been working our way paragraph by paragraph through the entire book. As I read today's passage, I want you to listen for verbs. And you're going to notice something different about this particular paragraph. Also listen for the directions of the courtyard, and it will connect with what I've talked about on previous videos. You shall make the courtyard of the dwelling. For the Negev side, toward Timan, curtains for the courtyard of fine twisted linen, 100 cubits long for the first side. Its posts 20, and their pedestals 20 of bronze, the hooks of the posts and their bindings of silver. Likewise, for the Zaphon side, in its length, curtains 100 long, and its posts 20, and its pedestals 20 of bronze, the hooks of the posts and their bindings of silver. As for the width of the courtyard by the side of the sea, curtains of 50 cubits, their posts 10, and their pedestals 10. And the width of the courtyard on the east side toward the sunrise, 50 cubits. 15 cubits are the curtains for the shoulder, their posts 3 and their pedestals 3. For the second shoulder, 15 are the curtains, their posts 3 and their pedestals 3. For the gate of the courtyard, a screen of 20 cubits of blue, purple, crimson, and fine twisted linen, a multicolored work, their posts 4 and their pedestals 4. All the posts of the courtyard round about shall be bound with silver, and their hooks silver, and their pedestals bronze. The length of the courtyard is 100 cubits, and width 50 throughout, and the height 5 cubits of fine twisted linen, and their pedestals bronze. As for all the accessories of the dwelling and all its service and all its pegs, even all the pegs of the courtyard are to be bronze. You shall command the Israelites that they must take to you clear beaten olive oil for lighting, so the lamp may offer up regularly. In the tent of meeting, outside the tapestry, which is in front of the covenant tablets, he shall arrange it, Aaron and his sons, from evening until morning before Yahweh. A statute in perpetuity for their generations from the Israelites. Okay, did you notice there was only one verb in the whole long section about the courtyard? And you shall make a courtyard for the dwelling. That's the only verb, and the rest of it is verbless clauses. Why does this matter? We're now apart from the presence of God. We're moving out from the Holy of Holies, where we learned about the covenant chest, and then the holy place or sacred place, where we learned about the table and the lampstand, and we've learned about the altar. Now we're on the outer perimeter, and the number of verbs seems to correspond to the level of importance. We've only got one, and then what sounds like an inventory of objects that are needed to assemble the courtyard. So that's interesting. The entire outer perimeter, aside from the entrance screen, is made of fine Egyptian linen, plain white, possibly bleached but not dyed, and the simplicity of that outer boundary is part of what signals that it's the furthest away that we see in sacred space from the presence of God. These posts are made of acacia wood. They have bronze bases. The Bible Bricks folks didn't tell us or aren't showing us the bases. They decided not to do that. And then bands or bindings of silver. They've chosen to make heads of each of the pillars out of silver. We can see even from the materials of the outer courtyard that we're on the perimeter. We're not by the most elaborate, most costly materials. Bronze is used on the outside. As you move toward the center, you get more silver and then finally gold. This colorful screen at the entrance is marking the east-west axis that brings you into sacred space. Some people have assumed that these white curtains would have been 5 cubits by 5 cubits because we know how tall the outer boundary was and we know how many posts there were and how long the entire thing was. but I don't think that these were 5 by 5 foot pieces of fabric. Why? Because if you hung fabric between the posts, then when the breezes blew, you would be able to see inside the tabernacle. Furthermore, the instructions clearly state that the curtain needed to be 100 cubits long. So I don't think we have a bunch of little curtains. I think we have one long panel for each side that they would have had to weave on a ground loom so that it could be just as long as they needed to make it. Now, a ground loom had a limit of 4 cubits usually, so unless they exceeded that and made an extra long ground loom and it was a little bit harder, maybe that was possible, but I'm told the limit was 4 cubits. So there probably had to be a seam. I don't know if they pieced them together like 25 panels that were 4 cubits wide each and then hooked them together, or if they did one long 100 cubit long panel and then another one that was like a cubit to make it so they had 4 plus 1 all the way down. Anyway, you can sketch it out and see what you think is most likely. What we know is that the finished product was 100 cubits. The finished dimensions of the entire tabernacle area was 100 cubits long and 50 cubits wide. So that'd be 150 feet by 75 feet. The instructions for this part are idealized in really interesting ways. If you sit down and try to draw it, you'll quickly find that what they are describing either is giving you a false total or it's giving it to you in a false order because it doesn't actually work to build it. So let me show you what I mean. It says there's 20 cubits on one side. And here, 20 pillars on one side. And here, if we count the heads of the pillars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. They did 20. But if you do 20 on that side, and then you count 10 across the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Did you notice something? This pillar was counted as part of the 20 and part of the 10. So that's possible, but then you wouldn't actually have to make 60 pillars. There aren't, if you add up all the pillars in this paragraph, it would be 20 plus 10 plus 20 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4 to do these 3, and these 4 for the front entrance to the tabernacle. But again, each of the corners is being counted twice if you do it that way. So an alternative is to count 20 to here, but then start the 10 beyond it and make it a little bit longer. It's all a bit of a mystery how it was put together. What's really clear is that the resulting instructions have a wonderfully symmetrical feel to them. If there were 20 down one side and we don't count the corner post twice, so then the next one is starting at the corner, the next one's starting at the corner, then you end up needing 4 on one side and only 2 on the other side of the shoulders by the entrance to the tent. So I just think that's kind of interesting how the text was written to be symmetrically beautiful. Even if the process of building it, you'd have to make adjustments. The outer courtyard restricts access to the presence of God and to the sacred space. You have to be in a state of ritual purity to enter through the gate and offer a sacrifice. But what I find really interesting is that this chapter ends with 2 verses about what every Israelite is going to be contributing to the very center of the dwelling. That is, they're supposed to be contributing pure olive oil to daily and every evening light the menorah so that there's light inside the tabernacle. So I love this because I feel like it shows a sense of participation. You may not be able to just waltz in here anytime, but you have a part to play in the proper worship of God. You get to participate. It's not like you are dirty and awful and you can't have anything to do with it. You are also giving gifts that make sure that the worship of God is maintained properly inside the tent where you yourself cannot go. So I think that is really beautiful. Verse 21 is the first time in the Bible that this is called the tent of meeting. And tent of meeting is a very intentional way of referring to this place, this tabernacle, as a place of encounter. This is not just a place where we're relinquishing something. It's a place where God meets us. We'll see this really clearly at the end of chapter 29 when we get there, but here we get a taste of it. This is a place of encounter. It's not a big keep out sign. It's a be careful sign that God's presence is in the midst of the people, and so they have to be careful in how they approach him, but they are welcome. And he wants to meet with them there through Moses and the priests as their representatives. So I hope that encourages you. So many lessons we can learn from this text. I hope you have a great week.